everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted, and welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live.
Hey everyone, I'm Cristie from Meeting Wellness, and we're so excited to meet with you this evening. Thanks everybody for being here.
Hi, you guys. I'm Haley from Meet Is Where It's At. Get your questions ready for our awesome guest today with a QQQ in front of your question or 3 question marks.
And you know what that means? That means it's time for this week's Roar of the Week. So every week after the show, we would love for you guys to go down and make your comments below the video on any one of our 3 channels, because I will hunt through them until I find an really super awesome comment, and I'm about to shout it out right now. So this week's Roar of the Week was from Carnivore Leo, Miss Rhonda herself. She says, my favorite quote by Nili, because that's who we interviewed last week, is, don't try to shove a different season into your current season. And that was like my favorite quote too. So I for sure had to put, it was like, oh my gosh.
So good.
Trademark. So anyways, Rhonda for being this week's Roar of the Week. After the show this week, make sure you guys comment so maybe I can shout you out next time.
All right. Well, I think we're all so excited to be seeing our guest. Why don't we let everyone see her? Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Hi, Anita. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys. That's an amazing introduction. All that. I love that.
So now you know. So I was like, you're going to get your very own intro. And you're like, I don't know what that means. Now you know.
Yay! Sorry about that. Little baby. You just feel that.
We get it.
Anita, I know. Anita, we're so happy to have you on the channel and the show. If you could please tell us about your health journey, where you all started and how you became the Ketogenic Woman.
Okay. Well, it's definitely been a journey. It's been a journey of about 10-ish years, where I found myself weighing over 320 pounds and couldn't even go for a walk around. A walk around the block was like not even in the cards. It was a huge effort. Just even anything. Like I just avoided movement of all kind. And I had some health issues. I was on medication for acid reflux for one thing for 15 years. I had like pains in my feet and legs and plantar fasciitis, and pretty sure I was probably pre-diabetic, but I just avoided ever going to the doctor. Just if I could get away with not seeing the doctor, because it was always the same thing. You need to lose weight. They would hand over the 1,200 calorie diet with the 3 ounces of tuna and 2 cups of salad and all that other stuff, and I just couldn't go there. But so at some point in my life, my mom, she used to be a real big fan of all the different monthly magazines. It was actually how she learned English, because she was a refugee from Eastern Europe after World War II, didn't know English. And so one of her favorite ways was to buy magazines and learn English through reading these articles. And but she loved the ones that had all the big headlines about lose 10 pounds in 10 minutes, kind of thing. And so we had plenty of those magazines around the house. And in the 70s, Dr. Atkins was in one of her magazines. And so that was my first introduction to low carb. It wasn't called keto back then or anything like that. It was just, lowering your carbs. And I had followed that for a little while. And I felt really good on it. But it was considered so fringe and out there back then. I mean, it was dangerous to eat, meat, and not to have, your breads and pastas and all those things. And so I didn't last too long on it. And then I struggled a few more years, gained more weight. And then finally, about 10 years ago, I thought, I'm going back to that. Like, that was the one thing out of all of the things I tried, lowering my carbs, being low carb was the one thing that I actually felt good on and seemed to work while I was following it. And so, that was kind of my first steps, my baby steps into where I am now, because eventually I started learning. I mean, the internet came out. I predate all that kind of stuff, right? Like, there was no internet back then. But 10 years ago, I started learning about keto and, kind of played around with that. And I actually started my website back then because blogging became this, it was like a journal. Like you had these online journals that people called blogging, and that became a very trendy thing to do. All my friends were blogging, and they were just talking about their feelings and their journeys. And so I started, talking about this journey I was having with keto, and it turned into a website, Ketogenic Woman. That's how that started. And then gradually I started running into people online who were just eating meat. And then it was my turn to think, well, those are the ones that are out there and fringe and everything. I just thought, I can't see that. So throughout this journey, I started finding out that I had some food sensitivities, and I started just, I just never really felt good. And as I gradually let go of different types of foods and I, tried more meat, I was always meat-based. Everything was meat-based from day one. But I then became more focused on the meat and less focused on the other foods, and started to feel better, and, ended up at Carnivore. So, but don't get me wrong. Like I lost weight lowering my carbs. And I think that's a really good place to start for people if they're not sure, if they don't know what to do. And I also lost then more weight on keto. But then Carnivore has taken it to a different level where I'm actually kind of in normal size range now. I've lost 145 pounds to this point. I do have still some more to lose, but I actually feel like, yeah, it's going to happen, And I never felt that way before. Like in all the diets I ever did, I always sort of had this idea in the back of my head that, well, this is going to work for a while, but then it's going to fall apart. And it was just sort of part of my story. And now I feel like, wow, it doesn't have to be that way. This is really easy for me. It's super easy. And I don't know why, but it is.
No, I hear you on that in so many ways. So what was it that got you over that this eating meat only stuff is, those people are kooky? Like, what was it? How are you able to get over that hump of thinking that way?
Well, I think that it happened when, so I was in I had a Facebook group, and I was in other Facebook groups, and people started doing these 30-day carnivore challenges. And I thought, okay, well, I can do it for 30 days. I mean, sure, it's a little wacky, but 30 days won't kill me. And so I would do them along with everybody else for 30 days. And I would feel so good in the 30 days. Like, that was the weird thing. It was like, wow, I don't feel this good, when I'm doing normal keto. And around that time, I was also starting to take care of my mom, who had Alzheimer's. And she was, so my doctor told, like, I was on this medication for Nexium, and my doctor had told me, we need to get you, because I was on it for 15 years. It was for acid reflux, Nexium. And she said, we need to get you off that because there's links to dementia with this medication. And I'm, seeing my mom, what she was going through, I was all for that. Like, I didn't want to be on that medication anymore. And so she helped me wean it down to about 10 milligrams a day. I was doing 40 milligrams a day for quite some time. To go the rest of the way was really hard. I was using an apple cider vinegar drink. I was, seriously modifying what the last meal of the day and what I was eating. Almost everything made me feel sick once I went off of it completely. And slowly I felt better, and I started figuring out through these 30-day carnivore challenges, I started figuring out when I brought back foods, which ones were making me super sick and which ones I was okay with. And eventually I just got tired of all that. And I was like, I'm just going to eat the meat. I feel best doing that. I don't have to fight with this reintroduction every time. And a lot of those foods kept me in the addiction as well. Not the vegetables so much. They just made me sick. But like on keto, a lot of people are able to do the different keto desserts and foods like that. And that just kept things going for me. Like it just kept my brain always thinking about food. And now I feel like I have freedom from that. A simple steak is more than enough excitement for me. I really enjoy that peace, the peace that's going on in my head.
So could you kind of explain to us when you were eating more keto, since your title is Ketogenic Woman?
I know.
What was that like a typical lunch or dinner? And then what is a typical lunch or dinner now? And if you could kind of explain those foods, maybe to give other people an idea what kind of foods were bothering you, maybe, or that kept you in that addictive mindset.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So Ketogenic Woman, because I started off with being like, it was important to me to be ketogenic and to be in ketosis, and that was the type of diet I was following at the time. And at the time I thought, well, I'm going to probably do this forever. And so I have, in the meantime thought, well, maybe I should change the name, but I've decided to keep it because I think it's a good way. Like, people often will find keto before they find carnivore. And so I feel like I'm a reasonable person that could meet a person where they are in their journey and not make them feel like, oh no, you need to change to carnivore, because not everybody does.
Right.
I did, but not everybody has to. I know a lot of people who are strictly keto and don't need to be anything else. So back then, what would be a typical meal for me would be vegetables and meat and a keto dessert. So the vegetables and meat were fine, other than certain vegetables. Nightshades is one of them. Like anything in the nightshade family, I react to. I think I'm down to about 5 vegetables that I feel like I can eat with impunity, like nothing happens. Mushrooms, asparagus, green beans. There might be a couple more. I can't because now I don't even buy vegetables.
Right.
Other than maybe a little bit of parsley or something. Like I can tolerate the garnish, but the rest of it is just going to go bad in my fridge anyway. So I don't buy them anymore. So it wasn't really the vegetables that kept me in the addiction. That just sort of kept the acid reflux going and other symptoms that I had from being sensitive to them. It really was the keto desserts that it just messes with my head. They're good. And if I made a batch of keto cookies or keto brownies, there was no just one. They were polished off like that. I put them in the freezer and I'd still take them out and eat them. So it was, I just could never find a way to let go of that. And so I had to let go of it entirely.
Yeah, I'm totally the same. I'm a binge eater, especially with sweet foods.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah, totally get it.
My issue on keto was the things like the nuts. The nuts and cheese were what were so bingeable for me. And now that I don't like do the cream cheese all the time because of the keto desserts, I can have a little cheese here or there and it's fine. But like, yeah, if I get going with the cheese every day, that will just multiply.
Yeah.
That's not good for me. So you mentioned that the going to carnivore, you know, it really helped with, you know, the acid reflux and also getting rid of the addiction. A lot of people on carnivore talk about other benefits like mental clarity, you know, better sleep, better mood, the carnivore zen, you know, did you have any of those benefits from carnivore versus keto as well?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do a lot in a day. I feel like I have really good mental stamina. Like I work as an accountant, and I've got, you know, the website and the YouTube channel and stuff like that going on, and I feel like I'm one of those people that for when I was in the 300 and some odd pounds, I was tired, I was exhausted, I was mentally spent all the time. And now I'm like, I've always got room for one more thing, you know, like I feel like I have an I feel like I'm 65. I feel like I have more energy, more stamina, more everything than when I was 25 or 35, 45. Like I just, it's amazing the difference there.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Trust me, because I used to be 240 pounds also, and it was with keto first, and then now carnivore. That I'm like, and I think I weighed myself today. I was like 172. So it's just been absolutely incredible. I was watching one of your Q&A videos where you were talking about, you know, your mom reading the magazines and, you know, hopping from diet to diet.
Yes.
And when you did Weight Watchers, they would say, you said, I'm quoting you, you said that they wouldn't allow more than 4 eggs per week. Butter is a swear word, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah.
And how does it feel now that you're actually eating those foods and you feel so good on them? They're so beneficial to you. But they were warned to be so dangerous. Do you have those like old twinges of fear that come up, like, oh,
no.
Fat is dangerous, or do you laugh? Like, you see, like, no, it's funny now. Like, I'm just curious about that mindset shift.
Yeah, I remember those days with the 4 eggs a week, and you had to, and they fish 4 to 6 times a week. Like my mom took me to Weight Watchers when I was 13, and we went together. But she went to her grave thinking that I was going to die from the butter. Like she was, you know, Mazola oil was her oil of choice. And she loved to fry everything in Mazola oil. And, you know, she would be, just see her standing, she would be standing there holding the Mazola going, this is vegetable oil. My doctor says this is the good stuff, you know, and, you know, in her half Russian accent. But like, she just couldn't go there. She couldn't go there. And I just, it kind of makes me sad for her, because, you know, there's a lot of links to Alzheimer's and dementia. They're calling it type 3 diabetes, things like that. I just feel like there was, you know, maybe we could have got a few more years out of her if, like, you know, if this hadn't have happened. And I just feel it wasn't hard for me to let go of that dogma because I'm an avid reader. Like I don't just look at YouTube headlines. I don't just watch videos. I read books cover to cover. I always have. And I, you know, I will read 10 books on a subject and just immerse myself in it. And I was convinced, you know, I read Dr. Atkins' book. It made so much sense. And for me, my body proved it to me. Like, yes, what he's saying is true for me. And I didn't know if it was true for everybody else, but I knew just knew that it was true for me. And then, so many other people to back that up now, thank goodness, because I think he was kind of a loner there for a while.
Yeah, for sure. So that intrigues me. You said you're a reader. So what are your favorite, like most recent books that you've gone through, and like what's something you've gotten from?
Oh, I always have about 4 on my bedstand. So I mostly finished the Dr. Bickman's book. Like I've just got a couple more chapters left of that one. Why are we sick? Why we get sick, that one.
Yes.
I'm reading a book called Forever Dog. it's about healthy dogs, having your dogs live forever.
Awesome.
What else have I got there? I just finished reading Super Gut. I had the book for a year, and I didn't read it. I wasn't sure if it applied to me, and now I'm like, yeah, that applies to me. And so I started making the Super Gut yogurt, and really liking it. So I've always got like several books on the go. I just love to read everything about this subject. And I just got Judy Cho's new book. No, it's in my bedroom. I thought maybe it was still over here. Judy Cho's new book, The Carnivore Guide for Beginners. I think it's going to be really good for beginners because I have her other book, The Carnivore Cure, and it's a little more textbook-like. Which I was okay with. I got a lot out of it, but I think a lot of people will like this new book if they're not used to reading a lot of books, because it is laid out for people who are just starting out. So she explains things so well and has, such great graphics. I just love her style.
Yeah, we got that book too.
That's awesome. I was going to say, because I've met so many brand new carnivores recently, it'll be nice to point them in a direction.
I would definitely point them at that book. I think they'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Well, the beginning explains like all the reasons why and like all the answers to the rebuttals you might get from people. And that's what, I mean, it's just so simple. Like, here, just read this section. Like, because some people have a hard time recounting information, especially scientific information. I really struggle with that. But yeah, that book I love it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. So is her other one. But I really like the simplicity of this one.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have some awesome people in the chat. So if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to sort of pop them up here. So Kate's Place Keto and Low Carb. Good evening, Ellie and everyone. Looking forward to the live with Anita tonight. Oh yeah, so were we, Kate. So were we, for sure. Hi, Melissa. Copper's Carnivore Kitchen says, hi, Ellie. Looking forward to your chat with Anita this evening. So hi, Melissa. Nice to see you.
Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, you know her.
Of course.
So Gail here is, usually she pops in, but then she goes square dancing. But tonight she's not going square dancing, you guys. So she's going to be with us the whole time. And then, cool opening. I love our opening. I hope you guys did too. Rhonda's here saying hi, Lionesses. So hi Rhonda. That was our roar of the week. And here's Bruce popping in to say howdy, folks.
Hi, Bruce.
And Nia, we always love a good roar. That just makes us happy.
That's my paw.
And then we have a question here for you, Anita. So it says, Anita, what is your all-time favorite recipe you've done on your channel? Maybe a keto recipe and a carnivore recipe? I don't know.
I think I'm gonna have to say the first time I discovered the roasted picanha, or what they call it sirloin cat.
I knew it.
There we go.
She said it. I didn't have to say it, you guys. Okay, sorry.
She's gonna say picanha.
No, I absolutely love that. I love it. I could eat it all the time. So I think, and when I cooked it, I mean, I think that the first time I cooked it, I also filmed it. So I didn't do a practice run because, I just thought, I just looked it up on the internet because, everything on the internet is true. I looked it up and I said, how do I cook this? I found something. I thought, it sounds easy. It turned out perfect. I just was so impressed with how easy it was to cook first try, and I've just been eating it ever since. So I think
you and me
that
both, sister.
discovery
You
was,
and me both.
yeah.
So I've been talking about meat. I wasn't going to tell this story tonight, you guys. I'm like, I'm going to lay off the picanha talk, but Anita brought it up. So here we go.
Here we go.
My student, I've told you about him before. He's the one that like loves meat, and he barbecues his own meat. This kid is 10 and he's out there barbecuing, and like his mom gets mad because he eats too many ribeyes. Okay, this kid. So I asked him how was his vacation. And I said, did you have any good meat? And he said, we had picanha. He said, because my mom let me choose the meat and I wanted to try picanha. And he goes, it was good. You're not lying. Like, we really liked it. So I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Cristie,
Yeah,
can you guys explain this question here? Someone is wondering what that is. What is
It is
picanha?
beef.
I'm going to let the master explain it. Go ahead, Anita.
Yes, no, it's a cut of beef, and in some stores you'll see it called sirloin cap. And my Costco, bless their hearts, they don't trim. They I don't think they trim anything off. So the fat cap is like that thick, and it is the most amazing piece of meat ever. I buy it from Costco normally, although I have found a local grocery store that every once in a while they have the steaks. They slice them a little too thin for me, so I prefer to buy it from Costco because they sell it in what looks like a small roast. And there's 3 to a bag, and then I just slice it up as thick as I want it, or sometimes I cook the whole roast. So yeah, beef.
Yeah, so this is Heidi. She's a pretty new carnivore. So I'm excited that she's popping in to join the community and say hello. So hi, Heidi. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so then there's some, there's a few people saying just hi to you, Anita. So Rhonda says hi, Anita. Gail.
Hi, Rhonda. Nice to see you. Hi, Gail.
Yep, just especially for you. And Jay is saying hi, everyone.
Hi.
Bruce says these lionesses are top notch. Thank you, Bruce.
Wow.
I saw Bonnie's name in there. I have to give her a shout out. Hi, Bonnie. Thanks for coming.
Bonnie is awesome. Hi, Bonnie. Nice to see you. It's hard to hit all the, so I'm sorry, Bonnie, if I missed any time you said hello. It's hard to star everything. And
yeah, I know.
Keep it all together. But anyways, Nia says, I love your videos so much, Anita. You're so creative and have inspired me to branch out in the kitchen more. So
that's excellent. And you have kids, Nia, so if you can get them learning how to cook meals too, they're going to be on a good footing for their lives. So yeah. I love it.
Absolutely. And then unfortunately the pink hand waving emoji didn't come through, but I love when it does that. It just has the text of the emoji.
I can imagine it. I can imagine the row of pink waving hands there.
So Warrior, I can't quite read that, but Miss Anita, so happy to see you. And then all the pink hands waving hello. Sometimes we get meows instead of roars around here. Okay. So thank you, David, for the meow.
Meows are welcome.
Yes, meows are welcome. Kate's Place, Keto and Low Carb. Hello, Anita. Love your story.
Thank you.
Here's Miss Kat saying hi, everyone.
I just discovered her channel the other day. I ran into something and I was going, why haven't I seen this before? And so nice to meet you.
Yeah, I just interviewed Kat yesterday. It was a
did you? I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, go watch because it was a really nice, like we've only had the chance to talk just in roundtables. So this was, we really got to know each other and it was a really good talk. So I enjoyed it a lot. So here's Heidi again. She's a teacher too, you guys. Yes, I love Ketogenic Woman vids. Don't we all?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, now here's a question from Nia. What is the biggest lesson you've learned from your health journey?
I think the most valuable lesson I've learned is that if you screw up, and you will, you just go. You just keep going. You just don't make it, I've got to toss it all in. I mean, I've got to toss it all away. You just have to keep going and just pick up the next day or the next meal. I usually say to people, the next meal, like just don't even wait overnight. Just make your next meal, bacon and eggs or something that's really easy to make and comforting, whatever your comfort food is with meat, go there. And because I used to do that thing where, I ate 4 ounces instead of the 2 ounces that I had planned, I may as well just give up and stop and binge for the next 6 months. That was my life before.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're speaking right to my heart because
Yeah.
yeah, it's so crazy. Like you said, you go a few ounces over and then it's like, well, might as well eat all the Oreos.
You're a failure. You're a failure.
And you just,
Yeah.
100%. So, you, Anita, really inspire me because you started your weight loss journey. Like it's taken you years, right, to get to this point, and you just keep going and you tweak things and you change things and you figure out what works for you, and you are like the picture of success. Like it's taken you all this time, but you just keep on keeping on.
I do, and I've had some major setbacks in 2017, because I think I started in 2013. Yeah, it's 10 years. It's 2024 now. See, the years just go by. But in 2017, my dad passed away suddenly, and that threw me. I fell into the carb ditch. I gained 40 pounds. Like it was a major relapse that lasted a few months. So there have been times like that in this journey. But for me, it's not, well, my journey starts on day 1 again. So that's another lesson that, I would like to pass on. Thank you, Nia, for that question about lessons. But when you have something like that happen in your life and you fall apart and you mess up, you don't, like, if you're on any type of a journey and you get lost, you don't go back home and start the journey over again. You go to a gas station or you go to someone's house and you get help and you start from where you are and carry on. And that's a hard lesson to learn sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like people feel like they have to go they're starting all over again. They're back to day 1. And I don't like seeing, I'm back to square one. You're not. You've learned something. I mean, every failure is also a place where you've learned something. And, even if what you've learned is never to do that again, or, you know what I mean? Like it's not starting over. It's not starting over. You just pick up best you can. Keep going.
Yeah, I like to tell people, I love how you're saying journey over and over again. You haven't said, like, I don't even think you've said diet very much. Like it's not a diet, it's not a wagon to fall off of. It's a journey, it's your life. That's right. Starting over at day 1 would be you being born, and you can't do that. So yeah, I love that. It's a journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So recently you introduced some like coaching to your life.
Yes.
You got some coaches. I think it was Alice and Kevin. So can you sort of give us a little compare and contrast? Like what made you think to bring in the coaches? What was your inspiration for doing that? How did they help you? How has it been different prior to coaching? And then
I've had
being coached or?
Yep. I go to multiple sources. So about a year ago, I started in Kelly Hogan's weekly coaching group. And I'm still a member. I love it. It's something new every month. And that's group coaching. Now, group coaching is quite different from one-on-one coaching. For the longest time, I had wanted to do some one-on-one coaching, but I was nervous about it. I was nervous about kind of opening myself up to that potential criticism or having to change how I'm doing things. It just made me really nervous. And so I happened to see Kevin and Alice one time. They came across my feed, and I made a couple of their recipes and enjoyed it. And then I realized they live in my town. Like I didn't know that at first. I did not know that until I'd seen a couple of their videos. I saw them go to somewhere. They pulled into some parking lot, and I was like, I know that place. And so I started, I commented to them they commented back, and before you know it, we met for coffee, and I really enjoyed their company, and they were just starting their one-on-one coaching at that time. And so I was one of their early clients, and it was, at first it was a little odd to have, someone go over my food and, suggest macros to me and all that other stuff. But darn it, anyways, they were right. And I needed more protein. So and I needed more exercise. Kevin, he's really technical and he's kind of, analytical and technical. He's the technical guy, and he just he's helped me set up a exercise program for. I do a resistance training every other day. I've got muscles. I think I might have abs somewhere in there.
Yeah, girl. Yeah,
I know, right? Yeah, it'll be a long time
Yay.
before anyone ever sees them, because I've got a lot of loose skin as well. But I just feel like that's like the final piece of the puzzle, for just enjoying my life right now, as far as being strong, being healthy. I don't know how rare it is for someone who's 65 to not be on any medications, but I'm not on any medications. And my doctor, when I do go in for, those odd checkups every now and then, she's like, well, nothing to see here. So like, she's happy with the way my labs are going and everything else. Like, it's just so fantastic.
That's super fantastic. Does your doctor at all know how you're eating, or is she just sees the labs and she's happy to just know news is good news?
Yeah, this is like a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. She sees the labs, just keep doing what you're doing, and I just, I'm not offering the information at this point. Maybe I will at some point. I think I should.
Got it. Well, now what should you say? Oh, no, stop. Even though your labs have been fabulous all these years and you've lost.
Apparently some doctors do that. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They do.
That sounds so amazing. I think a lot of people who are finding keto or carnivore later in life, I feel like all these years they feel like they've failed. They've not been able to get their weight under control, or they have all of these diseases. And it just warms my heart so much that you, like Cristie was saying, you keep fighting. You keep going along this journey. And like you said, if you fall, you get right back up. You go, oh, it's okay. Let's just keep moving. Yeah. And I've been there so much where it feels like everything just ends and you feel like the biggest failure. So I just wanted to say, I think you're such an inspiration for those who may be a little older in age, who might feel like they have no other choice but to like keep being sick. But the truth is that you can start tomorrow. You can start right now.
It's never
there's
too late.
Nothing. It does not matter your age at all. And so I just wanted to thank you for that.
Oh,
being
thank
sentimental,
you.
sorry. I can't help
Thank
it.
you. No, it's never too late. But I'm looking at you girls. You guys are, in your early years still, and have so much ahead of you. And it's so fantastic that you are taking control of this now, because think of how healthy you will be in 20 years, 30 years. I was afraid of, the aging part, because I just felt, I'd look at my mom and I would see my future, and she was so sick, she was over 100 pounds overweight as well. And she had everything, diabetes and high blood pressure, just, swollen legs, like just everything that could go wrong was going wrong with her. And I saw that as, what was headed my way if I didn't make a drastic change.
Well, isn't the fear mongering so strong? Like, here comes my tinfoil hat. Ellie, I need one. I need one right here that I can put on when I ask these questions. I'm going to do that.
I need to make a banner.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, just, it makes a lot of sense that, like, my whole life was like that too, where it's like, you see your parents aging or your grandparents aging, and you're kind of told that it's your biology, like everything's genetic. I've been told so many times that like my kids are going to be diabetic because my husband's family was always diabetic, and like especially diabetes for the most part is not really genetic. I mean, you can really do a lot of things for yourself if you eat the right food, if you live the right lifestyle. And so I totally feel that, where it's like you have to like wipe your brain clean of that thought that you don't have control. Like, well, too bad. This is how it is because you were born into this specific family. And it is really sad that all of us grew up that way and still kind of think that way.
Yeah, it definitely is. And doctors sometimes don't help much when they say things like, well, there's no you're going to be on this medication forever, or you're going to have to do this for forever. And it can be very discouraging for people to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and because you were mentioning your doctor and being like, well, don't ask, don't tell type of thing, I wanted to kind of go back to that and just talk to you about how successful you've been. How did people start treating you when you first started keto? And then even when you transitioned to carnivore, was there another reaction? Was it a worse reaction? Can you tell us that experience?
Yeah. So in where I work, and thank goodness for everybody working at home now, but where I used to work, I was surrounded by people who were still holdovers from the 80s and the low fat craze. And everything was about, avoiding fat at all costs. And here I was like bringing my, bags of bacon to work and stuff like that. And, it's really hard to be around especially when they're making remarks and not understanding how you're eating and thinking that what they're doing is the right thing. I mean, they're like, everybody was on Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, or just all those types of things that were, to me, they're really holdovers from back in those days of, calorie reduction, fat reduction, all that kind of thing. And I'm like the total opposite. So it's a lot of them now, and I'm thinking of my family members, we don't talk about what I'm eating versus what they're eating. And I don't think they want to know. But all I can do is just be that example, because one of these days, one of them is going to start saying, hey, tell me about it. Because there's a lot of sick people in my family. Like a lot of them, are on the drugs that I never want to be on, that kind of thing, and are having those types of health issues. And I really, would love it if any of them ever came to me. I'm not going to push it at them because it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. They get resentful. So I'm not going to push it at anybody. But I'm here. If I don't know if any of them will ever watch anything I do. People know that I have a YouTube channel, but they choose not to come and watch me. If they ever do, in secret, this is for them. I'm here to help you.
Please listen.
Just ask me.
Yeah, we always leave the door open.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So I want to make sure if people watching do put a question that we try to get to it. So we've got this one here from Susan Blake. So Anita, your skin looks amazing. I love when a question starts with a compliment. So
Thank you.
Anita, is it attributed to the carnivore diet?
I think so, because I think a couple of years ago, there was a couple. I had a few comments about, and I was I was going through kind of a hard time, and I was trying the lower fat carnivore, and it wasn't going well for me. And I had some comments about, your skin looks terrible, like, People think they can say anything on YouTube as
on
you
YouTube,
know,
not in person.
I'll
no.
beat
I
them
was gonna
up.
say, who are these people? Banish
I was
them.
getting some hateful
them up.
comments. I have had some hateful comments about my skin or my hair. People didn't like my hair or whatever, and those have all improved now, especially in the last year, as I've been a very clean carnivore. And two things: increasing the protein, but I've also gone all in on the omega-3s. And that means, to me, sardines and salmon. Those are the two things I eat most often. I just love them. And I feel like they're helping my joints, because I do have a knee injury that I'm dealing with, that I've been dealing with for quite some time. But I'm still able to exercise and do all those things. And I attribute that to the higher protein, being carnivore, not eating any junk food, no processed anything, no seed oils, and high omega-3s. Like, I just, every day on it, like, I'm now back to 3 meals a day to get all the protein in. But at least on one of those plates is a seafood once a day of some kind. So whether it's sardines or sardines and salmon mostly, but every now and then something else.
That's great. Yeah, I've been struggling with my rosacea. I share that on my channel, and everyone hears it every time I'm on here. But I feel like I've been craving a lot more of fish, so I've been eating a lot more salmon and also shellfish, shrimp. And then this is like something I just found out recently that a subscriber told me to use castor oil on your skin. And in 2 nights, I've seen a huge difference in my skin. And so I'm going to keep applying that and see how it goes.
Nice.
But so I wanted to throw that out there. But definitely incorporating more omega-3s seems to be helpful too. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, we have one more question from David, and I think you kind of answered it, but just for clarification. So he's saying, Anita, so you're primarily carnivore now? I remember seeing your videos, and you were doing a lot of keto stuff, especially including things to make keto-friendly food like bread, etc.
Yep, I am primarily carnivore now. I would call myself a carnivore. I mean, the mustard sneaks in, and a little bit of dillweed or parsley or something like that. That's about the extent of that. But I consider myself to be carnivore, and I do. So now I am in a situation where I do some keto cooking because there are other people in the household now. I've got 2 sons that live here in a suite that I have. And, I love making things for them, like in the summer, zucchini waffles, very keto thing that I used to have all the time. I don't eat them myself now, but I love making it for them. Those types of things may or may not, make it onto my channel because, it's all, like, for me, if it's on the proper human diet spectrum, I think it's fair game to, for people to eat that. And I'd rather see my kids and their friends eat these healthy things that are whole foods than a packaged waffle mix or pancake mix or something. I'm happy to make those things for them.
Well, and that's why Anita's channel is so cool, is because people, like she was saying earlier, people come to more keto first, and then they kind of branch out to the weirdos. Like, we are weirdos. I mean, as far as mainstream goes, we are totally out there.
Yes.
And that's what I used to think about us people, but that's why, you can go to Anita's channel and she'll have things for a keto person or someone for more heavier meat based, and then carnivore, so being able to have all those options, really, because the Ketogenic Woman, which I wanted to clarify that I love the name.
So cool.
But carnivore is in that realm. So
it's part of the spectrum. For sure. So that's why I decided to keep the name, because, and when I randomly, like, I have all the gear to check my ketones. I've got the whatever they're called, the dual monitors. And if I just randomly check it, I'm in ketosis. Like it happens. For me, it happens by default, just from not having carbs. That's not the case for everybody, but it is for me. And so I think the Ketogenic Woman still is a valid name. And my older videos are more keto than any of my more recent stuff. I mostly stick with that's my journey, so my journey is my journey, and I have to share it the way it's unfolded and the way it'll unfold in the future. I see myself staying this way in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm hearing you talk about like you'll randomly, check your ketones or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So is that to say that being in ketosis isn't necessarily a goal for you? It's just kind of happens. You're not it's not something you're trying for.
It was a goal for me at one time, and these days I'm not really that concerned with it. It seems to happen when I do randomly check. But I feel like it doesn't have to happen. Now, if I was diagnosed with cancer or something like that, I would definitely start looking at a different model, and I would definitely want to have I would definitely start looking at the higher ketones, the low GKI, that kind of thing. But I'm pretty healthy. I think I think everything is going well metabolically for me right now, and so I'm not all that concerned with it.
Okay. So that brings up so I was watching your video that you made about like the lessons you learned in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was kind of the end of 2023. You're like, here's the things I learned and here's who taught them to me. Now, forgive me because I'm going to butcher it. Like Ellie had your quote, I'm sure, all typed up and like it was pretty exact. Okay. I just remember that I was watching you say, and you were talking about like it was like self-messages, like negative self-messaging kind of a thing.
Self-limiting beliefs.
There we go. Self-limiting beliefs. See, I got it close enough. You knew what I meant. Yeah. So can you like share a little bit more about that? Because I thought that was amazing. And I'm pretty sure like once you I think you've sort of almost conquered this particular self-limiting belief, or at least gotten over it to some extent.
A big one that I carried around for a long time was actually given to me as a gift from a doctor who said to me, once you hit 40, I guess I was probably in my late 30s at the time, you will never be able to lose weight. Mm-hmm. And I carried that one around till I was in my mid 50s and started to go keto. So that was one. And another one that I carried around up until last year was that I'm a slow loser. Mm-hmm. And I say that, I would say it all the time. I've probably said it on many of my videos. I'm a really slow loser. So I'm really happy that I only, I lost a pound this month, because I used to do this sort of, once a month I would kind of give updates on where I was. And I feel it's important to have a little bit of transparency and for people to know that I'm working on this just like you guys are. Like this is not easy, and I'm working every day to be better. And so I would say, well, I lost a pound this week or this month. I'm a slow loser. And just always repeating that to myself, I'm a slow loser. And it's not necessarily so. I'm losing weight at the rate that, my body and my circumstances are allowing in the moment. And I have found that there are things I can do to speed it up, I've been responding really well to the higher protein, doing the exercise, eating more fish. Those things are working for me now. I may stall out again, that could happen too. And I'm okay with that, because I feel like not all success is on the number on the scale. Like I totally wouldn't, I totally believe that, because that used to be like, that was it. The number on the scale made or broke my day. And I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I feel way too fantastic to even worry about the number on the scale. And it's gonna, if you do 10 things right every day and you just keep doing them over and over again, and some days it's 8 things right, some days it's 9 things right, but if you just keep working towards that, don't you think you're going to have more success than if you're just sitting around thinking, oh, I'm a slow loser?
So mean.
Nothing I'm doing is working.
Stop it. That's right, Ellie.
No, I completely understand that. I'm really good at beating myself up, like being negative, and it's really hard for me to say something nice about myself. So I work on that every single day. And just even the phrase slow loser, like you're literally calling yourself like a loser.
I know.
And you know what? I'm a slow loser too. Some months I only lose 1 pound, and that's good. That's fantastic. We're going towards.
I know. Exactly. It's heading in the right direction, and we don't know what the other things are that are going on. I mean, our bodies are marvelous things, and they work on multiple things at the same time. Doesn't mean that they can do everything at once, right? Your body is like, okay, I'm going to take a break from weight loss while I fix this other issue you have, and I try to look at things in that perspective, and it does help for sure.
That's great.
So I have one more comment that I want to pop up here because, and then we're going to spin our meaty wheel. So I don't know if you know Russ, the homesick Buckeye, Anita. Do you know him? Because he knows you. He says, I'm in love with Anita. I wrote a song parody for her, and I will sing it for her one day. So
I would love to hear that. Thank you, homesick Buckeye.
I love it.
We'll make a short like right now and then post it.
Because we'll put it up, guys.
We will put it up.
For sure.
I want to see that 100%. Okay. So I had to show you, see why I had to show that. But now it is time for our meaty wheel. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and our meaty wheel will spin a question just for Anita. So here's our Lioness Lifestyle Live meaty wheel. Oh, so close. But we did hunt down a meaty question for you. Have you encountered any misconceptions or myths about a carnivore diet that you would like to clarify?
That's an interesting question. I'm trying to think a myth or a misconception. I think that some people come into it thinking that they're going to lose a lot of weight fast. I'm not sure where that comes from. I guess any new diet, though, people think that might happen. And, to clarify that, I would say carnivore is really it's more of a healing diet. And if your body needs to lose weight, eventually it will, but some healing might have to happen first. So that's how I'd answer that one.
Wow, that's a great answer.
Yeah, that's a tough one because
it is.
You want it right away. You're like, well, look at all these people losing weight. Like I was stalled for 2 straight months, November and December. And then I went lion diet and I finally broke past the stall, but like 2 months is a long time. And like, I would complain to Garrett all the time, like, oh my gosh, it's not working anymore. And it's like, but maybe your body also needs to stay there. Maybe there's a biological response to the weather outside. Like, don't you think people in the winter maybe maintained more weight? Like, I don't know. Those kinds of things might happen.
Yeah.
But you're right.
And anybody who has like concerns and questions like that, I really encourage that if you can't buy the book, borrow it from the library, the Ben Bickman book on why we get sick, because he has such good explanations in there of all the things that are going on in your body during this whole time and what's happening. And so I that's why I really appreciate that book so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I've been reading more books. I'm finding that a lot of them, like if you have the Kindle Unlimited, there's a lot of them that are in there for free. Like Coach Bronson's recent book, I started on that because it's just free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So
Yeah, awesome.
Fantastic. So yeah, always check that. So Russ coming in with the super chat.
Yay! Thanks, Russ.
Congrats.
There you go. And I think we're going to wrap up with this one from Cristie Wrench. I love this panel of women. How much fun is this? So
I had a great time.
I'm so glad. I had a great time too. And I want to thank everyone for being here. But Haley, what time is it?
Guys, it's roar time.
It's roar
Who's
time.
ready? Type it in. Type it in so we can put you up. Okay, guys, let's do the countdown. Are we ready? Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Anita,
Anita!
Look out for us, you guys. I love it.
There we go. Hi, Susan. Thank you. Oh, here comes some more.
All right.
Thank you. That's a good roar. Whoa, they're coming in quick. Deb, thank you.
Oh, put up Eric's roar because it's
Mike.
fantastic.
Roar, Picama roar.
Way to go, Eric.
That's funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Susan. Oh, Renee's got a good one. Roar, I mean,
There
yeah.
you go.
And then we got a little mew in there.
I love it. All right, well,
thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. I've been looking forward to this one, and yeah, I was not disappointed. This was just super fantastic. So,
Oh, thanks for inviting me. I had such a good time, you guys.
Absolutely, we'll have to have you back again sometime. All right, everybody. I would like to wish you a good night, and we will see you next Tuesday for another fantastic episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you all.